I've chosen Jules Jim by Truffaut. I think probably it would be honest to say it's not my favourite film, but it is a great film, and it's one of those films, it's like a piece of music really. I mean, people of my age or generation who remember when it came out simply have a very special place in our heart for it. And there's one famous scene which can only get you by the throat. Catherine and Jules have got married, and Jim goes to visit them in their house in the middle of nowhere, and they just sit around on the veranda with, they've got a little girl by this time, and they're just idling time, and Jean Moreau sings that extraordinary song which is about this two-faced woman, and of course she's singing about herself, as I understand it, and it's a very moving thing when you hear it.
Elle avait des yeux d'opale qui me fascinaient, qui me fascinaient. Il y avait l'opale de son visage pâle, de femme fatale qui me fut fatale.
I suppose one of the reasons why it works, because it's terribly simple really, is that fusion of what's happening dramatically, character, place, time, through the characterisation and the quality of the actress, and you get pure, unadulterated Jean Moreau.
Ce curieux sourire qui m'avait tant plu, sa voix si fatale, son beau visage pâle,
I and every other male, or certainly heterosexual, and probably not only heterosexual person of my age, was deeply in love with Jean Moreau. But anybody who has ever experienced a three-cornered relationship can only be very affected by the film. I suppose one has to be strict, or I have to be strict, in terms of my feelings and attitudes towards actors and characters being two different things. That although there's obviously a fusion of character with the actress, I think what you're looking at is very much a character. And I suppose if I'm honest, and it's quite hard for a middle-aged person to absolutely focus in on what it was at the age of 19 that this woman did to me. But it is that tantalising, enigmatic, confusing thing that this woman has. And the whole story is of this woman who really, I mean, you know, you can look at it very cynically and say she's stringing them along. It's a desperately passionate three-way love affair. They're all in love with each other, including the two guys, in the best possible way. I first saw Jules Jim in the International Film Theatre, which was a cinema in Bayswater that was pulled down, or it disappeared in the mid-60s, I think. When I first came to London, it was confusing because there was the National Film Theatre and the International Film Theatre. In fact, the International Film Theatre was just a flea pit that showed foreign language movies. I remember seeing it very clearly because at the precise moment when I saw it, and I was perhaps, I don't know, 19 or something, I was, you know, deeply in love with somebody who didn't want to know because they were having an affair with somebody else. And therefore the whole thing was terribly real and moving and horrifying and traumatic. Looking back on it now, I find it extraordinary that I still find it so wonderful and moving and exhilarating. It's got the most incredible spirit. It's remarkable, I suppose, that I can find a film in which really the central characters are rather boring buggers, basically. Don't seem to have too much of a sense of humour, is so appealing, but it is. I mean, I looked through this film yesterday, knowing that I was going to talk about it, and I flicked through it very quickly on the old video, which of course is a terrible thing to have to be doing, and I just realised that in many ways, yes, you can suddenly see that it is taken from a cheap or very light novella. You know, it is a very simple story, but somehow there are great passions and great movements going on, which are very moving, really.
Elle avait des bagues à chaque doigt, des tas de bracelets autour des poignets, et puis elle chantait avec une voix qui sitôt m'enjola. Elle avait des yeux d'opale qui me fascinaient, qui me fascinaient. fascinait. Il y avait l'ovale de son visage pâle, de femme fatale qui me fut fatale, de femme fatale qui me fut fatale. On s'est connu, on s'est reconnu, on s'est perdu de vue, on s'est perdu de vue, on s'est retrouvé, on s'est réchauffé, puis on s'est séparé. Chacun pour soi est reparti dans le tourbillon de la vie. Je l'ai revu un soir, aïe aïe aïe, ça fait déjà un femme bail, ça fait déjà un femme bail. Au son des banjos, je l'ai reconnu, ce curieux sourire qui m'avait tant plu, sa voix si fatale, son beau visage pâle, m'émure plus que jamais. Je me suis saoulée en l'écoutant, l'alcool fait oublier le temps. Je me suis réveillée en sentant les baisers sur mon front brûlant, les baisers sur mon front brûlant. On s'est connu, on s'est reconnu, on s'est perdu de vue, on s'est perdu de vue, on s'est retrouvé, on s'est séparé, puis on s'est réchauffé. Chacun pour soi est reparti dans le tourbillon de la vie. Je l'ai revue un soir, ah là là, elle est retombée dans mes bras, elle est retombée dans mes bras. Quand on s'est connu, quand on s'est reconnu, pourquoi se perdre de vue, se reperdre de vue, quand on s'est retrouvé, quand on s'est réchauffé, pourquoi se séparer? Alors tous deux on est partis dans le tourbillon de la vie. On a continué à tourner, tous les deux enlacés, tous les deux enlacés, tous les deux enlacés.